This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You are watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Okay, so DAZN have slapped Eddie Hearn on the wrist and told him to rein it in when it comes to quarrelling with other promoters such as Leonard Ellaby, Bob Arum, Frank Warren, his relationship with the PBC, all that kind of good stuff. And this is what the Executive Vice President of DAZN, Joe Markowski, had to say. What we won't do is, and you've never seen us do this, get into a back and forth with other promoters, dismissing them, dismissing the prospect of working together. We don't want our promoters to do that, engage in quarrels, which they do. Our promoters do that. Eddie does it. We slap them on the wrists. We don't want our brand associated with that kind of behaviour because we don't think it's conducive to doing our job properly. Joe Markowski's statement. I believe I got his job title right. Executive Vice President, I think he is. Anyway, now, my response to that is, when it comes to the in-house one, with him and Oscar De La Hoya, fair play. Fair play. Because, obviously, them two bickering with each other, people will look at that and go, hang on a minute, is there a problem with DAZN here? Of course, because two people who work on the same platform should not be arguing. But to be fair, Eddie Hearn is always responding to Oscar De La Hoya. It's Oscar De La Hoya that's putting out social media posts and doing interviews saying how Eddie Hearn is not a very good promoter. He doesn't know boxing in the United States of America and all that kind of stuff. Why? Because he's bitter about the whole Canelo Alvarez situation that Eddie Hearn is now promoting Canelo Alvarez, forgetting the fact that Canelo left Golden Boy and Oscar De La Hoya. Eddie Hearn didn't steal him, okay? And when it comes to Eddie Hearn bickering and arguing with other promoters, again, he's defending himself against his rivals. These rivals who will be slagging off DAZN regardless. Eddie Hearn is actually defending your platform, Joe. That's what he's doing. And when you brought in Eddie Hearn in the beginning, you knew what you were getting. It's not like he went to DAZN and then suddenly started to do it. No, he was doing it anyway. You don't bring in Lionel Messi and ask him to not use his left foot. Well, you don't, do you? You don't bring in Ronnie O'Sullivan to the snooker table and say, yo, don't use your cue. You bringing in Eddie Hearn and asking him to be quiet is not going to get you more subscribers. This is the entertainment business, Joe. That's what it is. Boxing is entertainment. Eddie Hearn is entertainment. Whether people like him, whether they don't, people will watch him. Listen, I ain't Eddie Hearn's favourite person. He's made that quite clear to me. But does it matter? No, it doesn't matter. What does matter, though, is that he puts on more and more fight nights. What does matter is that he speaks his mind. What does matter is that I like the fact that he responds to other promoters. I like that. Most boxing fans do. And again, even while he was with DAZN, when you guys offered him the chance to become the sole promoter for DAZN in the United Kingdom, as in leave Sky Sports, he had already had broken relationships with the PBC and things like that. You already knew that. And Leonard Ellaby is all a bit of fun. What does Leonard Ellaby bring? He brings what? Tank Davis. That's it. Take Tank Davis away from Leonard Ellaby. What else does he do? So who cares what Eddie Hearn says about him? Who cares? When it comes to Bob Arum is a bitter old bastard. Okay, he will bitch with everybody. But you know what? They still make fights together. They do. Are other promoters blocking Eddie Hearn from making undisputed fights? Yes. But they were going to do that anyway. Do you think that people would be subscribed to DAZN if it wasn't for Eddie Hearn's input? Do you? I'll tell you what, Joe. Why don't you tell Eddie Hearn to shut his mouth, rein him in, or, better still, pay up Eddie Hearn's contract, release him, and let's see where DAZN's going to go. Let's see where they're going to go. Let's see if you can get more subscribers. Let's see if you can keep the ones that you've got. You can't. This is entertainment. Eddie Hearn is entertaining. He is. That's why you brought him in. You don't bring in a mouthpiece and tell him to shut up. Didn't matter who the promoter was. They're not going to work with DAZN. DAZN, you are their rival. They don't want you. You are throwing money around. They don't like you. Doesn't matter what promoter you do, they're going to slag you off. What are you going to do? Just go quiet and accept it? Stop it, Joe. And Eddie Hearn has every right to turn around to Joe and say, yo, you do your job, I'll do mine. If you don't want me to do my job, let me know and I'll go. No problem. I'll go get a job at Triller. And I'll make them popular. And I'll sit back and I'll watch DAZN die. Because that's what will happen. We think Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy are going to keep it up. Behave yourself. Even with a good dose of Viagra, Oscar De La Hoya ain't going to keep it up with DAZN. His shows are garbage. They're certainly not for me. Anyway, listen, that's my thoughts on this whole situation. I don't really know why Joe Markowski felt the need to mention the name of Eddie Hearn. I mean, why didn't you mention Oscar De La Hoya? He's the culprit, really. He's the one going at his fellow DAZN promoter. Speaking of which, why are Eddie Hearn and Golden Boy not putting on shows together? Stable versus stable. Why is that? That's something that should be a shoe-in, surely to God. Surely. Now, granted, yes, promoters are blocking Eddie Hearn. Promoters don't like Eddie Hearn. Yes, he went into America. He was brash. I'm going to take over. I'm going to do this and the other. Okay, America is famous for loudmouths, arrogance. Everything must be bigger and better. That's what Eddie Hearn was doing. What, you don't like that? That's what you're famous for. So again, those who are against Eddie Hearn, whether it be here in the UK, whether it be there in America, they are a minority. They are a minority. They seem to think that to become a hardcore boxing fan, you have to hate on Eddie Hearn. No, these people are not real boxing fans. They're not. They're stuck in the 80s. They're stuck in a time loop. They can't move forward. Eddie Hearn is moving boxing forward, whether you like him, whether you don't like him. Don't get me wrong, okay? I'm not saying that Eddie Hearn should continue and be the best promoter out there and all that kind of stuff, and I don't want other promoters to do. No, of course I do. I want Queensberry. I want Boxer here in the UK to close that gap. I want them to do that, but not at the expense of Eddie Hearn shows dipping. No, I want them to improve their product, and I want Eddie Hearn to keep on improving. But I'll tell you right now, if he walks away from DAZN, if you put a block on him, you'll feel it. There's a reason why DAZN are in boxing with Eddie Hearn. You tried to get into boxing without Eddie Hearn, you probably wouldn't be in boxing. Or if you were, you'd be no better than, I don't know, Triller. I don't know, I mean, what? You can throw all the money around in the world. Doesn't matter. You need a mouthpiece. Eddie Hearn's your mouthpiece. And if I was you, Joe, I would call up Eddie Hearn and apologise to him. Drop your thoughts below. Click thumbs to subscribe. Catch you next video.